Hello, we're going to start laying on our backs in Supta Baddha Konasana. So bringing the soles of our feet together, letting your knees open wide. Let your eyes close if that's comfortable. Taking a couple breaths here. Letting yourself become more present on your mat. Allow the hips to begin to relax. Feel the entire body beginning to relax and soften. And after your next breath, you can bring the knees up, walk the feet out so that they're about hip width apart, and walk the heels in so you can just brush them with your fingertips. Feel the shoulder blades slide down the back. On an inhale, come into a bridge pose, lifting the pelvis up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lifting up, pressing into the soles of the feet, squeezing into the glutes. Exhale as you lower. So just moving at the pace of your breath, inhaling each time as you press the pelvis up. Exhale as you lower. The next time you inhale up, we'll hold. You can roll the shoulders under if that feels nice. Good. On your exhale, gently lower and return to your Supta Baddha Konasana for just a few breaths here, just to release the hips. Bring some softness back to the legs. On your next inhale, we're going to come back into that bridge position. When you're ready, inhale as you press into the soles of the feet, lift the pelvis up. We're also going to raise the right leg. Keeping the leg raised, we're going to inhale and raise, exhale as we lower again, just like we did before, this time with keeping that right leg extended up. Pressing into the sole of that left foot down into the ground, engaging the glutes as you squeeze and press the pelvis up. Keep the ball of that right foot reaching up towards the ceiling. On your next inhale, we're going to hold. Very good. On an exhale, release. We're going to switch right to the left side. Inhale, press up into your bridge. We're going to lift that left leg up and then lower on each exhale, raise on each inhale. This time pressing down into the sole of the right foot, squeezing into the glutes as you lift yourself up. On your next inhale, we'll hold up, squeezing and pressing up, pressing out through the ball of the left foot. Exhale, you can lower, and again we'll return to our Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees open wide for a few breaths here. On an inhale, squeeze the knees in towards the chest. Rock gently from side to side, and we're going to roll ourselves right up into a cross-legged position. Feel nice and grounded and anchored down through each sit bone. You can even move a bit of the flesh away from each sit bone to feel nice and grounded. Hands can rest on the knees and start making circles with your torso in a clockwise direction. Really feeling the movement coming from your hips. Starting to work into your hips. And then we'll do 3 rotations in the opposite direction. Seeing if you can find some nice sensations in the hip area. After that 3rd rotation, we'll uncross the legs, cross them in the opposite direction, and we'll repeat. So going in clockwise direction, do 3 rotations. Exhale as the body comes forward. Inhale as you lean back. Good. And then 3 rotations in the opposite direction. Good. Inhale yourself back up to center. Place your hands forward. You can roll onto your hands and knees, coming into a tabletop position. We're going to start by bringing that right leg forward, coming into a low lunge. Take a moment to square your hips. Make sure that that right knee is stacked on top of the ankle. When you're ready, lift the arms up, tuck the toes under, and press the knee off of your mat. Exhale, lower gently. Maybe tap the knee to your mat or hover. Inhale as you reach back up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press up. Exhale, down. Inhale up. Keep reaching out through the fingertips. Very good. The next time you exhale down, we'll hold. Really press out through that back left heel. On an exhale, hands can come down. Bring them to the inside of that right foot. You can scooch that right foot out slightly. Keep the back knee pressed off of your mat so we're still pressing out through the heel. After a few breaths, if you wish to lower down, maybe beginning to bend the elbows if that's available to you. You can maybe bring your elbows to a block or to your mat. We're keeping that back knee lifted the entire time. Legs are engaged and they're scissoring towards each other. On an inhale, coming back up onto the palms, you can lower the knee and send that leg back into your tabletop. Switching sides. Left foot is going to come forward into our low lunge. Square the hips. On an inhale, arms reach up, and when you're ready, lifting that right knee off of your mat, coming into your high lunge. On an exhale, lower. Inhale, press up. Keep flowing with your breath. Rising on each inhale, lowering on each exhale. Keeping the legs nice and engaged. Legs are scissoring towards each other, fingertips reaching up. On your next exhale, lower, and we're going to hold. Press out through that right heel. Really sending that right heel back behind you, straightening the leg. Exhale, hands can come forward. Bring them to the inside of the left foot, scooching that left foot out. We're going to keep that back heel or that back knee lifted. Taking a few breaths here, keeping the legs scissoring towards each other. If you feel like you can deepen, you can lower yourself onto a block or maybe all the way to your mat. Keep the legs nice and firing and engaged. On an exhale, drop the back knee down, release, square your hands over that extended foot, and press yourself up into a standing forward fold. Alternate bending and straightening the knees a couple of times. On an inhale, hands to shin as you come into a flat back. Exhale as you fold forward. Hold here, release, see if you can find a nice stretch in the backs of the legs. Release the crown of your head, and on an inhale, reach the fingertips all the way up, and exhale, release. Bring the feet hip-width apart, or you can bring the toes together, heels slightly wider. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, sink down into your chair. Inhale up slightly, exhale, deepen. And continue with that movement. Inhale as you raise slightly, exhale as you deepen. Doing small little pumps in your chair pose, keeping the fingers extended. On your next exhale, sink down and hold. Maybe see if you can lift yourself up onto your toes, staying in your chair pose, just lifting up the heels. And then reach the fingertips straight forward, trying to make your arms and back parallel to the floor. Staying up on the toes if you can. And on an exhale, straighten the legs, release the crown of your head forward, coming into a forward fold. Alternating, straightening and bending the legs again to find a nice release. Inhale into your flat back. Exhale, fold forward. See if you can find some length in your spine here. And then on your next inhale, arms can reach all the way back up again. Come to standing. Exhale, release the hands down. We're going to bring our hands to our hips. You can shake out the legs if you need to. Begin to ground down into your left foot. Take a moment to feel nice and rooted down. When you're ready, begin to raise that right leg up, straight up in front of you. Exhale as you swing the leg back, coming into a warrior three. Inhale, swing the leg forward. Exhale, swing it back. Keep the hips even as you go through this movement of rocking back and forward. Use your hands on your hips to kind of help give you an indication of when one hip starts to hike up a little bit higher than the other. Keep pressing out through the ball of that right foot as you go through the movement. And the next time the leg swings forward, we're going to hold for a few breaths here, pressing out, trying to lift the leg up. Exhale, come forward into your warrior three, pressing out through the ball of the foot behind you. Good. Inhale, come to standing, bend the knee. Coming into a quad stretch, just letting your foot rest in your right hand. Gently tucking the tailbone to find a nice stretch in that right quad. From here, standing on that left leg, we're going to cross the right ankle over top of the left thigh. Hands can come onto the hips again and begin to sink your hips down. Creating a figure four with the legs. Keep that right foot flexed. Hands can come into prayer in front of you. Good. Working into the hip here. Inhale, stand back up. Squeeze the knee in towards the chest and exhale, release. Good. You can take a moment here to shake out that left leg if it was really starting to burn. Good job. We're going to move right onto the opposite side. So this time, begin to ground down through that right leg. When you're ready, lift that left foot in front of you, straight out in front of you. Exhale as you swing it back into your warrior three. Inhale as you come forward. Exhale as you rock back. So moving at the pace of your own breath, you'll notice that this is definitely my weaker side. I really struggled here to find balance on my right leg. I'm going to blame my big belly here on this one. Just keep breathing and moving. Eventually the balance will come. Good. Moving forward and back just a couple more times, keeping that standing leg nice and engaged. The next time that you inhale that left leg forward, we're going to hold, press out through the ball of the foot. Try and lift the leg as high as you can. And exhale, swing the leg back into your warrior three. Keep that left hip down. Notice if it wants to lift up. Press out through the ball of the foot behind you this time. Good. Inhale, come to standing, bend the knee, coming into your quad stretch on that left side. Letting the foot just rest in your left hand. So no need to squeeze the heel towards the sit bone, but just create the stretch by gently tucking the tailbone down. Good. Trying to stay standing on that right leg, we're going to release, cross the left foot over top of the right thigh, creating that figure four with the legs, and then beginning to sink down into a squatting position. Hands can come into prayer in front of you. See if you can find some nice length in your spine. Working into the hip on the left side. Inhale, come to standing. Squeeze that knee in and exhale, release. You can shake out the legs. Good job. We'll come back up to the top of our mats. Inhale, reach the fingertips up. Exhale, surrender forward. Release the crown of your head. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, walk yourself all the way back into a downward dog. You can start by pedaling out the feet. You can keep a nice deep bend in the knees. See if you can find a nice stretch into the backs of the legs. When you're ready, allow both heels to reach down. On your next inhale, come into a three-legged dog, lifting that right leg up, opening up the hip if that feels nice, bending the knee, bringing the heel towards the sit bone. And then we'll swing that leg forward to the outside of your hands, coming into a low lunge. Rotate the right toes out. Peel the sole of the foot off of your mat, rolling onto the outside edge, letting the knee open up. We'll hold here for a few breaths. And then centering that left hand under the left shoulder, you can gently twist open to the right, pressing the right knee away. And if you'd like to incorporate a quad stretch, you can always reach that right hand back, bend the left knee, bringing the foot into the right hand. On an exhale, gently release. Shift the hips back, coming into a runner stretch for just a breath or two, creating some length in the spine. And then we're going to create an external rotation in that hip, bringing the heel, that right heel, towards the inner groin. And we're going to sink ourselves back into our pigeon pose. So sliding that left knee back, making sure the hips stay nice and even here as you lower, using blocks if you need to, or bolsters to support a lifted hip if needed. You can place a block under your forehead if that feels nice. You can stay on the forearms or extend yourself all the way down onto your mat if that's available to you, allowing your forehead to rest right on the mat. On an inhale, we'll slowly walk ourselves back up onto our palms. We're going to take one full inhale and exhale here on the palms. And then we're going to tuck the toes under. We're going to release ourselves back into our downward dog, our three-legged dog. So extending that right leg back to decompress the right hip flexor. You can open up the hip again if that felt nice. And then we'll lower that leg down, coming into our full dog, pedaling out the feet, eventually settling down into our down dog. We'll move on to the left side, left leg raises in our three-legged dog. Open up the hip if that feels nice. And then we're going to swing the leg forward to the outside of our hands, coming into a low lunge. Dropping that back knee, rotating the left toes diagonally out, and rolling onto the outside edge of that foot. Flex the toes here. Stay on the palms of the hand. See if you can find some softness in that left hip flexor. Allow the knee to begin to descend. Find some length in that right hip flexor. And then if you'd like to come into a gentle twist, pressing that left knee away with the left hand as you twist. Or if you wish to feel a nice quad stretch, you can always bend the right knee, reach back with the left hand for the top of the right foot. You can use a strap if it's not quite available to you just yet. Good. On an exhale, gently releasing forward. And then send the hips back into a runner stretch for just a breath or two. Feel that femur bone really sucking into its socket. And then we'll release as we bend the leg, create an external rotation as that left heel comes towards the inner groin. Walk that right knee back, settling down into your pigeon pose. If that left hip is lifted, make sure you support it with a block, a pillow, or a bolster. And then allow yourself to lower to an appropriate depth. Creating a nice stretch on the outer left hip here. So here we have deep external rotation of that left femur in its socket, and we're also creating nice length in the right hip flexor. And on your next inhale, you can begin to walk yourself back up onto your palms. We'll take a full breath here. After that exhale, releasing yourself back into a downward dog, extending that Left leg up and back to decompress that left hip flexor. Option to open up the hip. Very good. And exhale as you come back down into your down dog. Pedaling out the feet, maybe even gentle sway of the hips from side to side feels nice. We'll walk the toes in together and then bend the knees, sending the knees wide about mat width apart, and then sink the hips back towards the heels, sinking the chest down in this wide-legged child's pose variation. Arms can extend forward. On an inhale, you can roll yourself back up, coming into a seated position. We're going to extend the left leg forward, bring the sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh. Take a moment to feel nice and grounded down through your hips. Square yourself over that extended leg. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hinge forward, grabbing onto the foot or the calf, using a strap if you need to. Inhale up slightly. Exhale, deepen. Inhaling up slightly. Exhale, deepen. One more time, we'll inhale up slightly and exhale, deepen. We're not looking to create flexion in the spine here, so we don't want to round the spine. We want to try and create length here. See if you can reach the crown of your head towards the top of your foot. Feel that femur sucking into its socket. And then we're going to grab the outside of the left foot with the right hand. Send that left hand back behind you. See if you can create a nice stretch on the right side of the spine here. Very good. Inhale as you gently release. Lift yourself up. We're going to switch sides. Coming right into the opposite side, left foot to the inner right thigh, squaring yourself over that leg. On an inhale, reach the fingertips up. Exhale, hinge forward, using a strap if you need to. Inhale as you come up slightly. Exhale, lower, create length in the spine. Inhale up, exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale, lower. One last time, inhale up, exhale, lower, create length in your spine. Right femur bone is sucking in towards its socket, leg is engaged, pressing down into your mat. Good. This time we'll grab the outside edge. With the left hand, send that right hand behind you, fingertips pointing away. See if you can find a nice stretch on the left side of the spine here. Good. Inhale as you gently release, rolling yourself back up. Good job. We'll extend both legs in front of us. We're going to take our Shavasana in our Supta Baddha Konasana, just as we started. We'll roll onto our backs. Just hug the knees in and rock gently from side to start. And when you're ready, release the legs, soles of the feet together, knees open wide. Lift the chest up as you slide the shoulder blades down. Your eyes can close. Good. Take a moment to feel the effects of your practice, to allow the effects of your practice to really sink into your body. Just completely surrender and let go. Whenever you feel ready, you can bring the knees together, slowly roll yourself to your right side. Press yourself up. You can come to a comfortable seated position. Create some length in your spine. Reach the crown of your head up as your sit bones ground down. Hands can come to your heart center. Thank yourself for practicing today, and thank you for letting me guide you. Namaste.